Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Myles Sr., CEO and Chairman and Founder of the Minor Football League. I'm excited. Today is Friday. I know a lot of people got to understand that this COVID-19 is not over yet. I myself had some friends that to come to pass from it, and I also lost my sister-in-law this last week, along with my brother's wife, mother. So right now it's a lot on me, but right now I'm here because we want to talk about minor league football, and I can assure everybody that we will finish the last part of the season, although a lot of things are still not open for us yet, but we're still going to fight through this. But we want to keep in mind that this COVID-19 is real, and we want to protect the guys as well as the GM and the coaches as well. So we want to be careful with that. Also, I want you to understand the MFL is the laboratory of change, meaning we want to bring former players from the field to the front office. We want the young men to play, understand this beyond the field. What do you do after you can't play football no more? And we also reach out to the different HBCUs schools and let them know we are still signing players. We cut back on most of the league because of the pandemic, and some parts of the country is open, some parts are not. But we're going to do things are done by half and not ever done right. So we're going to do it the right way in terms of we're going together, and we want to make sure everything in place. I got the general manager of the Maryland Colts here, as well as the GM. I know, we kind of playing tag. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Dr. Myles. How are you, sir?
All right. I see you used to this media stuff, this TV stuff. You sitting back and relaxing, So how's things going? I know we are faced with this, and we're doing everything the right way. And I commend you and the rest of the GMs for the job you guys doing, because I know it's not easy right now. We are restrained by the fields. We had one of the reporters on Keith and Wednesday, he was saying, hey, whatever y'all need to buy, we buy what? We can't. No, we're not at that stage right now, nor would I think I would want to buy any a field or a venue where we own it, because it's too much maintenance to it. But other than that, how's things going, Mr. Jim? Because I know you're doing a great job, you and your staff and your admin people.
Oh yeah, we it's coming along. We got about 27 guys out there, given that they all getting ready for the season to get started off. It's coming. It's coming. Of course, when you building like we building this, it takes time and the process and all that good stuff. But it's coming along. I'm happy at where we are right now. And these guys are just ready to get out there and start, banging some heads. It's getting a little antsy out there, a couple of days in practice, but it's coming along. We're good. I'm good with where we are right now.
Absolutely, and I'm sending you the guys as they call. I have been giving your numbers out, and people do call the office. And some of them is definitely across the country. But we try to point that out to them that we need them to mainly, we want to find out where area they in, because that's the franchise they will go to. So I had some more people that just called the office not long ago. I'll be getting with you with them as well. But right now, I can assure you that, and like I tell the other gym, we're gonna go to end of the part of even the latter part near the end of the season, and we definitely will have playoffs and stuff. But we're gonna get started. But as I said before, we have to be very mindful of this is serious. We definitely in this COVID pandemic, and it's not going nowhere. And every time you turn around, it seems like people are passing, dying from it. But yet and still, people don't want to do what they need to do in terms of wearing the mask and stuff. Go get the shot. Now, I'm not saying go get it because I want people to do what works for them and makes them feel comfortable. But I say the only way around this, and I'll put it to you, I think everybody needs to do something to protect themselves, because right now, and every time Dr. Fauci says something, it scares everybody to death. Things are open, but it's not open. So it's kind of confusing there for us. Give me your sentiments on that. And I know you're working real hard, and I know you and your family taking precautions as well as your coaching and stuff. So it has to be kind of rough for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, as far as my family's concerned, I was actually one of those people out there that said I'll take the shot, and I'm just against it and all of that stuff. But the funny thing is, and I've been, and it's been a wonderful trip, but I've been following this woman for about 25 years. My wife is probably the one of the most, and I said this to several of my friends, she's probably one of the most skeptical people in the world that I know. And she's probably one of the people that does the most research on. She decided that after doing her research and all her foundings and all that, she decided she was going to take the test. And so I took her to the place. I'm like, this ain't happening, because I know my wife. She gonna get up here. She ain't gonna take this test. She gonna back out last minute. We gonna go home. We not taking this test. So she not taking this test. But surprisingly, she took the test. And from that moment, I was like, you know what? The most skeptical person in the world took it. You know what? I can do this too. So I ended up taking the test. My entire family is fully vaccinated now. I was on the other side, but now I'm on the side of, it's a part of new life that we're going to have to live with. And we still do masks, we still do all that, but we're fully vaccinated. I'm not telling people to get vaccinated. It's still from my perspective, it's something you have to pray about. It's something that you have to feel that is what you need to do. And once you get to that point, just go ahead and do it. Life like we knew it before the pandemic is not ever coming back. We have to develop what our new patterns and new processes are going to be going forward. And all the smart people kind of think for us, but you got to think for yourself and how you want to proceed with the new normal. And so that's how we look at it from a standpoint, from an organizational standpoint, from a coach standpoint. I just encourage the young men, because that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with young men, and I'm encouraging them to be as safe as possible. We've been together now about 6 weeks. No incidents have come out of it, and so we're taking all the precautionary measures that we have. Anything I ask the young men to do, they comply. And so we're looking forward to what the new normal is, as far as my family and the organization.
And the great thing about it, the MFL is the laboratory of change, and you're one of those young men that we was really excited about bringing aboard, because more importantly, you're about MFL, and that's what we like, And as an organization in which you've been a part of several that you started, we seem to be our own worst enemies, if you know what I mean. We quick to tear each other down, and I always say I would never try to tear another African American man down, regardless of what he say or do about me, or do and say about me, because and that's why we where we are today, always third class, because we never think about just joining forces and try to help each other to do some things, and which we're doing is something great here. And even talking with you, give me the census on the young men that's coming in. I know they're excited about playing, and I had some more guys, and people come the distance because of what we had to do with the league and the division with this COVID situation, because we didn't go last year, and that was the best thing I could do. You know what I mean? The decision I made, along with me and the board. I'm just I just like to give these young men some kudos, because we really know they're excited about getting this football on, Mr. Jim, but we want them to be very mindful of these some bad times here. And that's not to scare anyone, because, I will call it in a minute if I think it was to the point that, things are getting a little out of hand in terms of this virus, you know what I mean? Because it's not worth no one life. But I can see these young men that they really get an opportunity to, where they don't generally find outside of college or professional football, giving guys an opportunity to coach. Now you coaching, and you coached on different levels, high school, boys club and stuff. So it gives you another level of coaching these guys that's coming out of these colleges and stuff, and see the type of skills they have. And now it shows that type of individual you are, and you really get a chance to actually implement what you're doing with your coaching staff. And I had the opportunity, and I will get out there, Mr. Jim, as you know, that, I'm running like a chicken with it. And one thing I say about y'all, when I call y'all and I meet with you guys show up and stuff. And as you know, Mr. Chuck Barlow, he comes from all the way down in Georgia. And, I want to say hats off to my my GM down there in North Carolina, Mr. Harvey Watts, because he's doing better now, and I see him, and we want to get things going. We definitely even yell out to my GM down there in South Carolina, Lamar Ray. They doing, we doing some things that we thought we wasn't going to be able to do in terms of what this is. Some of the we had to shut down because of we didn't have the opportunity. Different places not going to open up for us. Even here in the nation capital, we have to even wait. And I know, Coach, one good thing about you, we're patient enough to know that I'd rather do it right than to do it half-a. You know what I mean? If it's not done right, man, it's not going to be done correctly. And I really care about you guys and these young men that's out there, and it's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm excited about it. I know it's going to happen, and we're going to get a chance to get out there and get things going. But more importantly, it's the fact that you're teaching now on another level, Coach. So what is the sense with your coaches and everything now? Because you're teaching on another level. Now you're dealing with, although they're young men, these are still men. And when you're dealing with guys in their 20s and stuff, and sometimes, but my sense is, so, most of the places we sign the guys, they call here first. And when they call here, we get everything. They send us the stuff. We send it out to y'all. But these young men, they seem to be very, very excited and very committed in what they're doing.
Yes. So, like you said, it's another level. It's all too from the youth ranks to the high school ranks. I think the difference now is I'm dealing with young men that actually, they're working. Some of them are still in school, and it's a challenge not only for them but for me to understand that if a young man has to work, he can't make practice. All right. So it used to be parents bringing kids and kids coming late and this, that, and the other. Well, now these are the kids that are driving. Well, not kids, but these are young men that are driving. And then one thing I have to challenge my staff with is they're adults, right? So these are adults. We're dealing with young adults that, have their own mindset, they have their own mentalities and their own everything. Yeah, they got jobs, they got kids. I had one young man, and I thought it was the greatest thing, and it was probably something, if I played minor league football back in the day, it was something I would have done. He actually brung his daughter to practice. And I was like, cool, that right there is like, okay, I see your commitment. You probably didn't have anybody to watch her, so you brought her to practice. I was like, straight, we good. I'm good with stuff like that. And so I tell my young men, every day, yo, I mean, and you talk to them, and you talk to them about real life experiences and things. So for me, it's more than just the football with these young men. I'm literally trying to give them experiences that I've experienced to try to help them along the way, so that they don't make some of the mistakes that I may or may not have made back in the day. So it's a great experience for me, not only for me. Before one of my coaches, we just actually me and my OC had a conversation with a young man yesterday about the team. What are you willing to do for the team, or are you going to be an individual in this process? Because if you're going to be an individual in this process, you cannot be a part of this team. And I'll just cut you. I'll just let you go right now. It ended up being a great conversation. But again, it's about life experiences with these young men and kind of helping them walk along those experiences. But I'm enjoying being with this group of young men. I'm enjoying feeding into them, training them, teaching them. We're all enjoying that stuff. And my staff, like I said, it's rock solid. We got probably over 100 years of experience, in mentoring and coaching. And so we're just moving forward.
And that's the great thing about it. And I know as more and more guys coming in there, and they realize this is something to give them a platform, that they're not going to get that what they dream of in that over league, and which is nothing wrong with dreaming, but sooner or later you have to wake up from the dream, Mr. Jim. So these are things that I say to these young men, but also when they start, as they come in, they'll start coming in, as you see more and more. Then I like that they bring in, because then I remember with the Washington, they used to bring their girlfriends. I wasn't too keen on that, you know what I mean? But they used to come in, and they used to bring all of them in, and they stand around and watch, and it wasn't a distraction, but the fact that it gives them opportunity to see and let them see what they're doing, as far as a minor league football, a minor football league. So it's just the opportunity is just great, and they get a chance to meet other people and talk to other guys, and these guys are from different parts of the DMV, and as you know, other guys will be coming even further. So
Right.
it's just that I can't say enough about you coaches and Jim, the job that y'all doing, especially under these circumstances. But then again, I said, if it was easy, everybody be doing this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's proven that some people they like the idea of coaching and be a gym, but they just not cut out for it. And as opposed to just saying that, then they'll come up with other excuses and they come up with other things. But, and like I told people, 28 years ago, the MFL will go with or without them. And these are some of the things that I get excited about. And I really wish that people understand exactly what the MFL is. We're the laboratory of change. We want people to get an opportunity to come here. Well, even if you're still in school and you need internship in terms of marketing, PR, media, they can come here and they can learn these. You're a trainer, sports management. These are some of the things that you'll get an opportunity to do that you normally wouldn't get an opportunity to do these things. So, like I say, I'm excited about the things that you guys doing, and as you know, things are going to get a little heavier. They'll be out there, and stuff now that they realize what's going on. But hopefully, and I'm looking way ahead of what we're doing now. And hopefully, this time when I meet with the HBCUs, the coaches this time, I know I met with the front office. I met with the presidents before, and maybe I thought that, but then again, I always try to start at the top. Mr. Jim, I met with them, and I should have met with all the coaches. I think that would have been more feasible to meet with the coaches because the president and them not really not big into football or sports. They say they are, but you and I know they're really not. But you live and you learn, So this time I would meet with the coaches when I was down Tennessee, and I went to Tennessee State. It was a few coaches, and I just missed all of them. But he was saying that it's a great idea that we talk to them, and I say, well, great, So I'm just going to be a little more diligent in terms of who to meet with this time, because when you meet with so many people and you try to touch all areas, because we want them to understand that if you intern and all that, we wasn't just wanting to talk to them about football. You know what I mean? That wasn't the goal. The goal was to let them understand that, we have these franchises here, and if you had people that's gonna you can be in school or stay in the area, this is where the franchises are. So like I say, we really excited, and I'm excited about what you're doing, and my hands is full, and I know your hands is full, and I know we talk a lot. As I do with all the GM and coaches, I'm always transparent. You can always get in contact with me. That's what most people say. They could call me, and but I have a lot of heavy on my heart. So dealing with my personal some tragedy in my family, but I'm still pushing on because I can see y'all doing a great job, and I want y'all to know how much that I appreciate. What you guys doing. I appreciate you very much. And I tell guys all the time, I'm going to get there. You know me, I know when you were shocked, you saw me way down in Tennessee, Coach, I guess Dr. Myles get everywhere. Yeah, and I go because I'm about MFL, and that's what it is. I'm not trying to be better than nobody else or show nobody else up. I'm just worried about what we do here in the MFL to give young men an opportunity. Like I say, whether you come here or not, that's up to y'all. But we provide an opportunity that you don't find outside of college or professional football. We are providing that. We're a developmental league, and we tell people straight off the top, we don't pay players, but we do have insurance, and we take care of the travel and all that, Mr. Jim. And we're excited about we provide the uniforms and stuff. So we get ready to tighten up on a lot more things right now. And hopefully as things calm down with me personally, we'll be able to do even more things. And, we got people that are really pushing to do everything. No, I don't want to try to get all the credit because it's not just me. I know most of y'all deal with just me, but then again, dealing with the other people in the organization, it has to be something totally different than what we're doing in terms of football. So, and I want to say to the staff that y'all have, kudos to them. They're doing a great job because we know this not easy. And the fact that I did not want to, I wanted to keep, want to make sure the coach would be in Maryland, whether it be further up north or whatever. And I think y'all doing a great job because this is something that that you guys took by the head, by the bull, by the horns, And it was a little rough there, but as you can see, but it's not like something that y'all got not used to doing. You know what I mean? And it just seemed a lot better when you build something. I know when I first started, the first minor league team was the Washington Chiefs. And we didn't really, a lot of the coaches in DC helped me to start there because, when you try to order uniform, that's going to take a long time. So the different coaches, Coach Stu at Anacostia, he got UDC had folded there. You remember UDC? They cut their football program out. Mr. Jim? And Coach Stu at Anacostia, he gave me the ones he had. Coach Richardson of Cardozo, he gave me the ones he had. And then Easton coach gave me the ones that they had. So really we had 3 uniforms, but in the chain there were 6. So they said, well, you going to really do this? And I said, yeah. So they gave me the uniforms. And when we started, we had kids come from all over. But most of these kids were from high school. They graduated in high school, but a lot of them didn't get an opportunity to go to college. And we know college is not for everybody. Let's just be real, But you still want those kids from those colleges to give them a real good shot, because you need that bridge built. Most kids get out of school, it's all Americans going to be walking the streets now because they did not get that shot, Mr. Jim. And it's not because they're not good enough. It's not enough room. And when we started, we had to play the West Virginia Lightning with Barry Word and all that, and we was no match for them. But the kids played. The kids was in a good system, but as far as talent-wise, we didn't match up with them. And the Washington Post rubbed it in my face, you know what I mean? Mr. Jim, they said the Washington Chiefs was hit by lightning because we lost 68-28. But, everybody clapped for the guys, because the guys, they fought the whole night. And it just goes to show you that. And I know then, I said, well, I'm going to have to really get these kids from around the country to come in. Then I started getting kids from Colorado. Kids was coming from all over the country, California and everything. But the only problem you had with that is you got to get them a place to stay at. You know what I mean? You had to get them housed, and then you had to get them jobs. So, I had a lot of people that helped me do that. Most of the guys got jobs out there in Montgomery County Police Department. I had friends out there, and I talked to a lot of people, me being a part of the task force out there and everything. So everybody was very helpful. But you talking about the team was unreal, but the kids came from all over. You know what I mean? I had that luxury in a way, not that it was a real luxury, because it was hard, but that's why we were so talented. But the great thing about here, now you have the DMV, and you coach that great high school out there. Because I remember, what's his name? Brother went there, and you probably coached him, went to Denver. He played running back from Denver a while. That's a good program, huh?
Landis Gary.
Yeah, Landis Gary. I remember he used to come to our practice. He used to hold the ball and stand beside me, and his brother used to play. So it would just go to show you, we used to take him on the road when we went. It was a good team, but collectively they came from all over, But here in the city, you know all these guys that you seen come to boys club, seen go to high school, go away to college. Now it's a bridge for them now. So the next step was for them. If they did not go in the National Football League, then that was it for them. You know what I mean? There's a GM now with something else we have for them now that they can say, okay, let's sharpen up. Maybe you've been on one of them Power 5 conference teams, and we know you didn't play. You know what I mean? Because there's so much talent there. So now you get out, you get an opportunity. Your skills not really where they should be because you did not play. You know what I mean? So now this is where you develop at. This is where you get the development at and get an opportunity to play. And when you get that opportunity, which we try to make sure guys get, then your techniques is basically you really had an opportunity to get the things, the time and the technique that you need. Coach?
Yes, sir.
So these are some of the things that, we want, and with somebody like you, and, in terms of knowing people, and that's great, because I don't think a lot of guys realize it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I know going down, you down in the South, what's going down there. If you don't know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, don't care what you bringing down there, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? This Jim, it's just not going to happen. So we always, that's why I always try to hire people from that area, and they might not make the best choices all the time, but they can't say you did not give them an opportunity, Coach. And we come up, sometime craps, and we just have to replace those people. But the main thing, we gave them opportunity. And some people don't get the opportunity they should. As you know, you have a lot of coaches that coach in college that don't get opportunity to go to the next level. And they might leave college and still want to, in college, a lot of pressure. And just like players or former college, we have an opportunity, call us, you don't have to move. You can stay right in your area. because geographically after this season, matter of fact, we are still meeting now that we are going to move some franchise and stuff to places that was calling us, and they had things in place. So we're not going to just stop what we're doing. We just going to go where we need it the most at, and sometimes people you get things in a certain area, but then you get that, and the worst thing for us as people of color, we got to stop being the ego which starts and mess us up. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to help and tell other people about it, we want to be jealous about it, and those type of things that I pay no mind. I keep pulling what I'm doing. So I take scratches. I'm used to getting all these scratches on my back. But what does this mean? And Coach, you've been coaching a long time. Now you have the opportunity to be on the helm, because I know you have been in situations. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Mr. GM, where you're doing things and you always had somebody on top of you did not quite get it or understand, and it was be kind of frustrating for you. You know what I mean? So you say, well, wow, but now you at the helm. What does that mean to you?
Well, honestly, Dr. Myles, in my football career, I've pretty much developed relationships, whether it be people quote unquote above me or below me. I treat everybody the same. And I think that's what's made me successful. I pride myself on not developing, an ego about it, because at the end of the day, it's just business. And I treat it as such. It's business. Our relationship outside of the business is totally different than any relationship I have inside the business. So, and I'm a relationship guy, so I build relationships with everybody, so everybody likes me. But then, you got those individuals that don't like what you do, and how you do it. I'm and most of my guys will probably deny this, but I know they know I'm hard to work with, because I don't consider myself a perfectionist, but I just want things done a certain way, and I'm very particular when it comes, and I'm ethical, and I have all of the morals that my mom installed in me, and I just won't break them. So that makes it difficult to work with me for a lot of people, because some folks just want to break the rules. And if rules are put in place for me, we're not going to break them. Now, will I take it to the maximum limit? Absolutely. But we're not going to break that rule. And so with my career in football management, and now being the GM of the Maryland Colts, it's just really turning the page for me. I've done it. I've done this stuff. One thing you'll know about me, or that you'll know about me, I mean, I've helped build one of the probably most dominant youth leagues in this area, and no one on this planet can attest to that. No one on this planet can, deny that. It's one of the most powerful youth leagues on this planet. In the high school level, we took a program, in Riverdale Baptist that was nowhere, and under the leadership of Caesar Nettles and myself, built it into a program that got a number 27 tackle that got drafted to the Minnesota Vikings. Like, he was a no-star coming into high school. He was a 2-star coming out of high school. We put kids that the powerhouse programs in the DMV cast away. We took those kids and put them in Power 5 schools and all other schools across the country. So I'm used to having very little and building it so that it's successful. Is it a powerhouse? Is it going to be a powerhouse program? Who knows? Only God knows that. But it will be a successful program under my leadership. So I'm just a little, I don't know, I guess I'm a little different to work with, and I'm a little different in my mentality, but I am a lead guy. I've always thought about big picture. I'll always, project myself 5 years into the future. Even in taking this position, I'm projecting myself into the future. I'm not looking at what's going on right now. I'm looking at like I'm not even considering this year one for us because of the pandemic. Next year will be year one for us. This year is the pandemic year for me. But we're going to be successful. We're going to be successful. We're going to get on this field and we're going to play some good, quality football. I'm teaching these guys at a high level. I'm actually teaching myself at a high level because we're doing some things offensively and defensively that I haven't done before. And so now it makes myself, in order to teach it, I got to learn it. And so we hitting books and we hitting these to overall answer your question from a GM standpoint. It's not new to me. I mean, I know it's a simple answer, but it's just not new. I've done this, and I'm looking forward to continuing, to do this thing at a high level. So it's new, but it's not new, I guess.
Yeah, well, let me rephrase it. Not new, but okay. So you done conquered other levels, the boys club, the high school. Now you're at another level. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not saying you haven't done it, but everything is different now. And even the way you go about, the way you prepare, because like I say, these are grown adult men. Some of them come out of good schools, big schools, and some of them might not went to such a big school, but they all will be learned the same thing. And more importantly, the other ones that been to the big schools can teach the other ones and say, look, this is what we try to do. And my hat's off to you. And like a lot of the GMs, you said something to me that I remember you said when I first met you, say, I don't know what Dr. Myles they thinking, but we're not going to be no doormat. I hope they don't think that. And ever since you said that to me, I repeat that to other people because that's bold. And, I used to tell people all the time, I said, give me some time to build this. Because, see, everybody looking at this like we're not going to go the first year. But I said, give me a time to put this together. We want to win in one game, 1 year. I think won 2 games the next year. We might have won 3, then the 4, and then next year. But after that, buddy, I counted 8 rings we got. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's because it took time. I used to argue with my coaches. I used to argue. I tell you, there's 3 ways to do things. The wrong way, their way, my way. You know what I mean? And that's the way you have to look at it. And of course, until everybody feed into what you're doing and understand, of course, everybody going to have their ideas, but that's why you the head person. So look, I want to look at what you got. I tell people, my offensive coordinator, because everybody know me. When I was out there coaching, I was always down the end standing by myself. And then I let the offensive coordinator do his stuff. And I let the defense man do his stuff. And when it wasn't the way it should be, then I would send I call the coach up to me and I tell him, I said, look, let's try something else. Let's do this now. And they go back. I was never someone that's overbearing and over top of them because I never want to be the type of coach, a type of owner or coach to be looking somebody back. Football is a collision sport. You're going to win and you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to be better than your opponent. Sometimes they're going to be better than you. But it's how you play the game. You know what I mean? And I used to have a lot of coaches come up to me and they say, they beat us. And they beat us thoroughly, but they always compliment the team. And they spoke to my team. They said, you mind if I speak to the team? I said, no. He said, you know what? We're just better than y'all, but I'll say this for y'all. Y'all the best coach team that we ever came up against. There's a lot of things we was trying to do, we couldn't do. You know why? Because you guys were where you were supposed to be. You know what I mean, Mr. Jim? He said, y'all was always where you're supposed to be. So a lot of things y'all might look down, or hold your head down and stuff. He said, but y'all ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. Y'all gonna get better. And that's the great thing about you guys. He said, and that was encouraging to me because the way, they would say, your guys was always where they were supposed to be. And I'm a stickler for that, Coach, because and coach especially going to be on this level, one man out of place will blow the whole thing.
I literally just said that to my guys yesterday. I literally just said yesterday.
Right. And they don't understand that right now, but they will we played the All-Star game up in Howard about 5 or 6 years ago. And, the East against the West, MFL All-Star game. And the game was 0-0 going to the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes to go. And they drove the ball down to our 20 and it was fourth down. And I told the defensive back what not to do. And would you believe, Coach, he did what I told him not to do. And the people ran the slant and scored a touchdown. They won 6-0. And all I could do was hug him, Coach. And I told him, I said, man, let me tell you something. If I tell you what to do, all you got to do is do it. See, this is not an electric football set where you draw the people or the chalkboard where you draw and move the people. No, man, you got to be what you're supposed to do. We play man to man, okay? Man to man. Come on now, you over here on the island, okay? It ain't nothing he can do but run a slant.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing he can do but run it. So, I say you got to get up on the guy. Because once he catch the ball, I mean, but it's just that, sometimes these kids think they know, but, good kids, they learn. I used to argue with my guys that they was, Coach, they were so big, man. I had guys 6'6" and all that. And I've been on the field fussing with them and stuff. But after that, that was the end of it. They come to practice and everything, and they always be mumbling and stuff. And when I say quiet, it's time to practice, then we was quiet. And I treat the guys I treat them like who they was. They was men. Okay, I might have been the coach, but you still a man. And me and the guys were arguing and stuff, but the guys were very respectful to me. You know what I mean? And we used to go at it. That's just something we used to do. But the guys would always have my guys there, and the guys were with me for years and years, and that's why we ended up being so good. And then guys were coming from all over. So I can identify with what you're doing, and you're right. It's only 3 ways you can do stuff: the wrong way, their way, and your way. And then once they understand that, then they'll be fine. But now I'll talk about your coaches. Your coaches, they're doing a great thing, and we will get out there with the cameras and stuff. Not only just the photographer with the camera, for the show. And we'll be out there soon. And don't tell them we coming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We're coming. Don't tell them we coming. We're gonna come out there. And a lot of stuff I'll give it you prior to that to give it to you so you can, hang up out there. But I just want to say to not only you, but all my GMs that I have, man, y'all doing a great job. And, and it's something that you said, Coach, you're right. This really not the first season because really we're in COVID-19. You know what I mean? We battle and do some stuff and you see the shows come on and we come on and we're very transparent about everything. We don't deceive nobody and lie. I tell them exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? I tell them what problems we have and what we're going through because for what? We don't have to deceive anybody or anything, but I know I got some good people and that's all I want. I don't need a lot of people. I need a few good people. And we talking to over in Africa, it's still kind of rough over there, but I'm constantly in meetings with them, Coach. I'm always sending pictures and stuff, as you see. I'm meeting with them and they're excited, but we just don't fool ourselves. This stuff is dangerous what's out here. And that's why we want to make sure that the guys fill out everything they're supposed to fill out, make sure they have their COVID because we don't want anything to go wrong in terms of I'm doing something that we're not supposed to be able to do, Coach. Right. You know what I mean? This gym, so the MFL players got COVID and all. It'll bounce around the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we definitely don't want that bad press.
Yeah, and we don't want that. But and I don't believe in that. Bad press is good press. I don't believe in none of that. We don't need it. We have our own media. We have the MFL network and stuff, so we fine with that. We don't need to do that. So, but I just want to say, I want your coaches to know that they're doing a great job, and I will be out there. I know some of the guys. It's the MFL. We see stuff. We ain't seen nobody, but we gonna surprise them and come out there. We can't get to everybody, but we will get together. But like I say, I know that. In talking to you and meeting some of your coaches, I know the Maryland coach in good hands. You know what I mean? And we're going to make sure we represent the MFL really good in terms of look-wise and everything else. I'll talk to you about some other things that we doing, Mr. Jim. We moved over from. So it's just things just take time. You know what I mean? And we don't want to rush into anything. And I just want you to know, man, y'all doing a great job as long as the rest of them. And we're gonna stay in the division. The division and play will be short, but we're gonna have to bring some of the teams like North Carolina have to come up, and y'all have to go down. You know what I mean? But we gonna be fine. You know, we get a chance, and like you say, you know, I never look at now. I always look at ahead. And something you said, and you took the sentiment right out of my mouth. That's how I am. I always think ahead. And like right now, even though we're going through all this problem with this COVID-19, I'm still talking to, you know, Africa. I'm still talking to the different places because, you know, we're going to come, but let's be realistic about this. You
Right.
know what I mean? I'm going to have to, you know, I have to bring some y'all GMs with me over there when we're going to, because we want to start it. And what you know about it, Ms. Jim, this thing got to be ground up. We're not just coming up with the MFL for the young men. We want to start, and your expertise along with us, we want to start it from the lower league standpoint too. We want them to learn from a lower league. And everybody understand American football is really is in the national too, because everybody watching. So when we come on there and I told them we're gonna do this, oh wow, we thought y'all no, these young kids have to understand the game as well too. And the only way they can do that is to be taught right and for them to play the game. Let me get your segment on that, Mr. Jim.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I read an article. It was an article or it was a clip or something on Twitter about coaching at the young levels, and it's actually the reason why I got out of coaching at the youth level is because there's not enough teachers. All right, forget the whole coach aspect of it. You know, coach is more of a mentor, but there's not enough teachers of the game at the youth level. These guys are out here that they just want to beat their chest and win a trophy, and they just want to beat their chest and find a kid and do this and do that, but they're not teaching these kids. Right. Or they want to go and recruit all the good kids and run plays. Mm-hmm. That is what's killing our youth football today. And I'm not the first person to say this. I mean, I've been saying it for years, but I'm not the first person to say that. We need to get back to teaching our young people, this great game, you know, because if you teach it to them, they build on it, and it teaches them later in life what how to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
the internet is killing football. Everybody wants to just go and put all the stuff and be flashy and all that stuff, but it's not about that. That's not what the game is about. You know, it's about building. Yeah. So again, I'm not the first one to say this, but I'll continue to say it. It's the reason why I got out of youth football is because, you know, everybody wants to be a champion, but nobody wants to develop a champion.
There you go.
And I tell people you got to pay real close attention to what I just said. You know, everybody wants to be a champion, but they don't want to develop a champion. You know, they want it, instant gratification. Yeah. So it's terrible. But there are a few guys that I know out there that are still teaching. And they're teaching it, and they're struggling with teaching because nobody wants to be taught. You know, all these parents want their 6-year-old son. Oh, he Barry Sanders. He gonna be this. Well, what does your 6-year-old son look like going into high school? Is he that same player? Are you developing? Are you investing in him? Are you doing this and that? I mean, I have 2 sons from experience that, you know, me and my wife, we invested in our children and it paid off. They're one has a undergraduate degree, the other one's getting an undergraduate degree, and football's paying for it. And those are the type of parents that, you know, are gone. There's very few of those left. Right. They just want to win championships, and they're not future forecasting what their son's going to do in the future and how they're developing them for the future, and, you know, things like that. But, you know, again, I every time I talk about this type of stuff, people say I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm gonna keep beating that dead horse because until it comes alive again.
Absolutely. And
but yeah, that's my standpoint on the whole youth level. It's just we got to do better. We got to do better, and that's across the board. That ain't black coach, white coach, all coaches. Y'all got to do better, man. But I'm a bystander when it comes to that now. So I got we got the MFL, and we're gonna move forward with that. I'm dealing with 18 plus, and it's gonna be exciting.
Right. And then you look at what you say is true. They stop teaching. And I'm going to get, and I'll probably talk with you and the other GM. I want to take coaches over to Africa because we want to teach the youth, the game of football. We want to teach them, teach them, because right now that is gone with a lot of coaching. You even had even in junior high school, it's not the same, or middle school. Because if you look at it, as you stated, most of them want to get the kids that can play better than other kids. But when you come up against another team that have people better than you, then now you just seem ordinary as opposed to teaching the other kid. I never liked them taking a kid with a little side and throw him on the line. He might not be a lineman. You know what I mean? You right. Think because he's a certain size, well, we put him there. He'll do that. And that's the worst thing you can do with kids, especially at a young age. You got to develop these kids and find out what position do you play? What position do you like? What position you interested in? You know what I mean, Mr. Jim? These are the type of things that we're going to do over in Africa, because what people think, we're not just coming over there with a Band-Aid, because that's easy to bring, to get these older guys over there. Some of them understand football, but for the most part, a lot of them don't. But we want to train the little kids, because that's where your base at, right there. You know, Mr. Jim? The base is the little kids, because now they're doing it and they're seeing it, okay? You teaching them and they seeing it. So now it gives them an advantage somewhat, because they taught the right way. And a lot of people don't do that. Like I say, and what you were stating, my sentiments, two is they don't teach anymore. And that's gone. That's why the MFL is here, the laboratory of change. We want to learn to develop players. And a lot of kids don't understand that if a kid can run, what's the first thing they do? Stick him at a wide receiver just to run down the field, outrun the guy. And don't teach him anything else. What about technique, the proper stance? The block. What about blocking? Because you're a receiver, you don't catch the ball all the time, you have a block. But then again, you know how to block. That's just like for a lineman. Lineman, you got to teach them you got to teach them how to pass block, how to run block. You know what I mean? See, these things are not just putting a kid there with a little side, tell them stand up and just block the guy in front of you. You didn't teach them no technique to block the guy in front of them.
Right.
And it's bad. That's why a lot of parents don't want the kids playing football. And they always ask me, that's the first thing they ask me when I come on, I don't want my kids to play football. What do you think? And because I think it's dangerous. And I explained to them, I said, no, football is not dangerous. They're in, what is that, kickboxing, that's dangerous. Basketball, dangerous. You ain't got nothing on. With soccer, that's dangerous.
Riding your bike down the street is dangerous.
Walking the dog is dangerous.
Right.
So, but keep in mind.
I hurt my knee walking my dog the other day.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that, football is a collision sport. But if you teach people properly, you still got a helmet and shoulder pad and stuff on. And if you teach them properly, okay then. But don't say it's a rough game because this and that. And if you don't support them, they're going to go play anyway, and they're not going to get the teaching that you would make sure that he get if you were supporting him. You know what I mean, Mr. Jim? So you don't want him to just go out there. Then you don't want him and then support him, because he'll go somewhere and they'll put him anywhere out there and he end up getting hurt, and you wonder why. So these are some of the things that I'm glad that, y'all GMs is really interested in, because we're going over there. We're going to teach these young kids over there in Africa too. And a lot of people excited. At first they didn't thought we was going there. They know it's real now, Mr. GM, and then they know it's real. But, we definitely want to develop these guys, these young guys. It's a lot of talent over there. Some of them kids bigger than I was surprised because some of them a little bigger than they say their age are. But it's true. You know what I mean? No, I'm serious. How old is he?
A lot of them folks don't keep up with their birth dates.
Yeah, but they got some athletes over there, and you look at them and they were showing me some film on people kind of go over there and start a little league. People got on equipment, some don't. I said that's not the way you're supposed to. See, you're making a mockery of the game, and then you go get somebody hurt. And that's why you get parents say, "I'm afraid. I don't want my kid to go out there." That's because you have to make sure these kids have on the proper gear, you know what I mean, which is vital. You got to teach them how to really exercise and get in shape. You can see a big, strong guy, but if he ain't in no shape, he ain't in no shape, Second, you have to do things that you got to teach them the different techniques. And this is a lot more to football than people think, They think it's football is just tackling and running, but we got news for them. There's more to it than that. So when you said the things that you said, I could not agree with you most of it, but just listening to you and you having that opportunity, you blessed because you have an opportunity to do all these things. So it was only natural it was nowhere else for you to go but up, Mr. GM, because right now you did it all. And then listen to you talk, which is good, and that MFL Nation see you and get an opportunity to hear you talk. It was no more you could do there because you got frustrated in watching what they were doing. As you were saying, people just want to, and I can't go to little people used to invite me to them. I sponsored some of them, bought trophy and pizza and stuff. But a lot of these coaches, man, they living through these little kids and the way they grab them and everything. No, I could not do that. So, and hopefully when we start giving our clinics and stuff, if high school coaches want to go, come, fine. If they want to go to the other, then fine. But even we can get the boys club, little boys club coaches and the little league, the little kids coaches out there. You know what I mean, Mr. Jim? And try to teach them. Man, it's of course you want to win, but it's just the knowledge of the game and everybody understanding what they're doing. There's nothing like knowing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Just out there, man, it's really a frightening sight to watch that. But like I say, Coach, and you're wearing two hats there, you wear them well, though. I just want to say, thanks. I'm going to have the different Coach and GM on. We're going to start tightening up stuff a little more. In terms of, but as far as what y'all doing, I don't have, only thing I can say is kudos to y'all, man. You're doing a great job, and I'm quite sure your coaches and your staff watching the show too, and they get a chance to, you better go ahead and say some nice things about them, Mr. GM, because they're doing a great job.
Yeah, well, Dr. Myles, they know I am who I am, so if I exert niceness towards my staff. Honestly, if I wasn't on this show and you come to my practice, you wouldn't even know who the head coach is, because that's how we run things. Like my OC, my line coach, my guys have just as much say as I have, in the decision making for this team. So if you come to my practice, you ain't even gonna know who the head coach is unless you shake my hand or you see this or you see that or you see it written down, because that's how I like to run my camps. I don't want anybody to feel as though that I'm above them or beneath them. Now, as humans, we know with the title comes responsibility. We know that, but I don't exert head coach or I don't exert GM. Most people don't know I'm a minister, so I don't exert that either. So, you just got to find out things about me. I'm not going to just. I don't, like I said, I don't have an ego.
Right. Well, like I say, thanks for being on the show today, Coach. I want to say you guys doing a good job, and I look forward to coming out there and see you guys. This has been another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, Founder of the Minor Football League. We'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you, Mr. Jim.
All right, Coach. Talk to you today, Dr. Myles.
All right.